What if I told you that the moment you broke contact, you unlocked the most powerful psychological tool to make her want you back? Yes, the very silence that you thought might push her away is, in fact, the key to making her chase you. But here's the brutal truth. Most men mess this up because they don't know what to do after going no contact. They panic, overthink, or worse, break the silence too soon. And just like that, all the power shifts back to her. Now let's be honest for a second. You went no contact for a reason, right? Maybe you were fed up with her taking you for granted, or you wanted to regain control in the dynamic. Whatever the reason, what you do next determines whether she runs back to you or walks away for good. This is where most men fail, because they underestimate how much the post-no contact phase matters. But not you. Because today, I'm about to teach you the strategies that flip the script entirely. You won't chase her, you'll make her chase you. By the end of this, you'll understand how to turn your silence into an irresistible magnet. Ready to play this game right? Let's dive in. 1. Why breaking the silence? Too soon destroys attraction. Imagine this. You've decided to go no contact, and for the first few days, it feels powerful. You're holding back, staying quiet, and reclaiming your space. But then doubt creeps in. You start wondering what she's thinking, whether she's missing you, or worse, if she's moved on. And in that moment of weakness, you break the silence. Maybe it's a text like, "Hey, just checking in," or even something casual like, "Hope you're doing okay." Sounds harmless, right? Wrong. Here's the problem. The moment you break the silence, you hand over all your power. Why? Because you've just confirmed exactly what she suspected, that you were never really in control. The whole point of going no contact is to create distance, to show her that you value yourself enough to step back. But when you reach out too soon, it signals that you're still emotionally invested, that you're waiting on her to validate you. This kills attraction because, at its core, attraction is built on the idea of desire, not desperation. Think about it. People are drawn to what they can't fully have. By staying silent, you create mystery. You force her to wonder what you're doing, who you're with, and why you're not chasing her. That curiosity keeps you in her mind. But the second you text her, call her, or interact in any way, the mystery dies. And without mystery, there's no spark, no tension, no reason for her to chase you. Here's where most men get it wrong. They think reaching out will clear the air or remind her of their presence. In reality, it only confirms her position of power. She doesn't have to wonder about you anymore because you just gave her the answer. And worse, she knows she can keep you in her orbit without doing anything. That's not the kind of energy that makes someone chase you. Now let's make this clear. Women are highly intuitive when it comes to emotional dynamics. She can tell if you're genuinely stepping away to focus on yourself, or if you're just using no contact as a strategy to get her attention. If you break the silence too soon, it shows her that you're not really confident or secure. And confidence is the ultimate attraction factor. Here's an example. Imagine you're at a party and you see a woman you're interested in. She notices you too, but instead of approaching her immediately, you stay cool, calm, and collected. You interact with others, enjoy yourself, and seem completely unbothered. What happens? She starts to notice you more. She wonders why you haven't approached her yet. Her curiosity grows, and with it, so does her attraction. Now, imagine the opposite. You see her and immediately walk over, giving her all your attention. Sure, she might appreciate it at first, but the intrigue is gone. You've just shown her your entire hand. The same principle applies to no contact. When you remain silent, you let the tension build. You allow her to feel the space you've created, and that space makes her realize what she's missing. She starts to reflect on the good times, the connection, and the value you brought into her life. But if you break the silence prematurely, you rob her of that process. The truth is, no contact is not just about her, it's about you. It's about reclaiming your focus, your energy, and your confidence. Breaking the silence too soon tells her you're still emotionally dependent on her, which is the opposite of attractive. Instead, hold the line. Let her come to terms with your absence. And when she does, that's when the real power shifts in your favor. 2. The power of mystery. How to stay on her mind. One of the most powerful tools you have in the aftermath of no contact is mystery. And let me tell you, this isn't just a concept, it's a psychological weapon. Women are naturally drawn to what they don't fully understand. The more mysterious you are, the more she'll think about you. Why? Because mystery creates curiosity, and curiosity is what fuels attraction. The problem is, most men destroy this advantage by oversharing, being too available, or trying to prove themselves constantly. They leave no room for her to wonder, no space for her to imagine. But when you embrace mystery, you force her mind to fill in the gaps. And that's where the magic happens. Let's break this down. What does mystery look like in practice? First, it's about limiting access to your thoughts, emotions, and life. This doesn't mean playing games or being cold. It means keeping her guessing. For example, when she checks your social media, she shouldn't see endless posts about your feelings or what you're doing every second of the day. Instead, post sparingly and intentionally. A picture of you having a great time with friends or doing something new is far more impactful than sharing 100 stories about your daily routine. Now, let's address communication. One of the worst mistakes you can make is being too predictable. If she knows exactly when and how you'll respond, the excitement fades. But when you keep her on her toes, she starts to analyze every little thing you do. For instance, if she texts you, don't rush to reply within seconds. Take your time. Let her feel the anticipation of waiting for your response. That anticipation keeps her thinking about you. Another element of mystery is unpredictability. Women love a man who keeps them intrigued. If you always do the same thing, act the same way, or say the same things, it becomes boring. But when your actions aren't easily predictable, she'll constantly wonder what you're up to. For example, let's say she casually brings up a plan to meet. Instead of immediately saying yes or no, give her a vague but confident response like, "Let me see if I can fit it into my schedule." That shows her you have a life outside of her, and that your time is valuable. Let's be clear though, being mysterious doesn't mean being distant or detached. It's about balance. You want her to feel connected to you, but not like she has you all figured out. It's the difference between giving her the outline of a book versus handing her the entire finished story. The outline makes her curious. It makes her want to learn more, to read between the lines. For example, imagine she asks what you've been up to lately. Instead of giving her every detail, keep it simple and intriguing. Say something like, "I've been working on a few exciting projects," or "I've been keeping busy with some new hobbies." That answer is just enough to pique her interest without revealing too much. She'll be left wondering, what kind of projects? What hobbies? Who's he spending time with? Another key aspect of mystery is maintaining your independence. When she sees that you're thriving without her, it creates a sense of admiration, and yes, even a bit of fear. Fear that she might actually lose you. That fear pushes her to chase you, because she realizes you're not someone who will sit around waiting. Think about it like this. If you walk into a store and see a shelf full of the same product, you'll pick one up, but it's no big deal because you know there's plenty more. Now, if there's one product left on that shelf, you'll grab it in a heartbeat because it's rare, it's valuable. You need to treat yourself the same way. By being mysterious, you position yourself as rare and valuable. To sum it up, mystery isn't about manipulation. It's about creating an aura that pulls her toward you. It's about leaving her wanting more. The less she knows, the more she thinks. And the more she thinks about you, the stronger her desire becomes. 3 subtle moves that make her doubt losing you was smart. Losing someone who once cared deeply for you is never easy. But here's the truth. Women often don't realize what they had until you show them, subtly, that letting you go was a mistake. The key word here is subtle. It's not about grand gestures or trying to make her jealous in obvious ways. That's transparent, and quite frankly, it screams desperation. Instead, it's about making small, strategic moves that plant seeds of doubt in her mind, making her question if letting you go was the right decision. First, focus on elevating yourself. A man who continues to grow, thrive, and evolve after a breakup is unforgettable. She might have expected you to crumble, to sit around and wallow in self-pity. But when she sees that you've become sharper, more focused, and more confident in her absence, it sends a powerful message. It's not about bragging or showing off, it's about embodying the kind of man she'd regret losing. And let's be honest, people are naturally curious. She'll hear about your growth either directly or indirectly. Whether it's through mutual friends or a glimpse of your thriving life on social media, she'll start to wonder, why does he seem so much better now? Was I the one holding him back? Those thoughts alone are enough to make her doubt her decision. Another subtle move is showing her that you're living your best life, not for her, but for yourself. Think about it. The most attractive version of you is the one who doesn't need her validation. This means you're not constantly checking in, posting cryptic quotes online, or seeking attention. Instead, you're investing your energy into things that genuinely make you happy. Whether that's your career, hobbies, fitness, or social life, it's all about showing her, through your actions, that you're better off. But here's the catch. It's not just about doing these things. It's about doing them authentically. She'll know if you're pretending. If you're truly focused on becoming the best version of yourself, that energy will radiate naturally, and people are drawn to authenticity. Now let's talk about social proof. Nothing makes someone question their choices like seeing other people value what they let go of. When she notices that others admire or want to be around you, it forces her to reflect on what she lost. Maybe it's a new friend group, new connections, or even subtle hints of romantic interest from others. The goal isn't to flaunt it, it's to let it speak for itself. And let's not forget the power of composure. The way you carry yourself after no contact says a lot about your emotional stability. If you're calm, confident, and not chasing her, she'll start to wonder why. Why isn't he texting? Why isn't he trying to win me back? That silence can be louder than any words. It makes her question if she truly understood your worth, or if she underestimated you. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Women, just like men, experience moments of doubt. They think back to the relationship, the good times, and the unique qualities you brought to the table. If during no contact, you show her a version of yourself that's thriving, those doubts will only grow stronger. It's not about revenge or playing games. It's about showing her, indirectly, what she gave up. Ultimately, these subtle moves aren't just for her benefit. They're for yours. They help you regain your sense of control, rebuild your confidence, and refocus on what truly matters. And whether or not she comes back, you're in a better position because of it. The beauty of subtlety is that it allows her to connect the dots on her own. You're not forcing anything. You're simply living your life in a way that naturally makes her question if letting you go was her biggest mistake. 4. Why begging will always push her further away. Let's be real. Nothing kills attraction faster than begging. If you're out here pleading, constantly texting, or trying to convince her to come back, stop. Seriously, stop. Begging doesn't just push her away, it makes her lose respect for you. And without respect, there's no chance of rekindling anything. Here's the harsh truth. When you beg, you're operating from a place of weakness. You're putting all the power in her hands and essentially telling her, I need you to feel whole. That's not love, that's dependency. And women don't want a man who depends on them for validation or happiness. They want someone who can stand on his own, someone who is confident enough to let go if he needs to. If this sounds like a hard pill to swallow, good. Because sometimes you need a wake-up call. Begging isn't just unattractive, it's embarrassing. Think about how it looks from her perspective. She sees you pleading, promising to change, or saying you'll do anything to make it work. Do you think that makes her feel drawn to you? No. It makes her feel like you're incapable of handling rejection. And the moment she senses that, you lose the little leverage you had left. But let's dive deeper into why this happens. Begging puts her on a pedestal. It tells her that she has all the power in the dynamic, that you'll do whatever it takes to win her back. That might sound romantic in movies, but in real life, it's a recipe for disaster. Relationships thrive on balance, on mutual respect. When you beg, you destroy that balance. You give her all the control, and that imbalance makes it impossible for her to see you as an equal. Here's where you need to wake up. Begging also communicates desperation. And desperation is the opposite of attraction. Women are attracted to confidence, self-respect, and independence. When you beg, you show none of those traits. Instead, you're showing insecurity, fear, and a lack of self-worth. And let me be blunt. Those qualities don't make her want to come back. They make her want to run even further. Now, some of you might be thinking, but I love her. I just want her to see how much she means to me. I get it. Your emotions are raw, and you feel like you're losing someone important. But love isn't about clinging to someone who wants space. Real love involves respect for her, yes, but also for yourself. So what should you do instead? Step back and regain your composure. Focus on yourself and what makes you valuable as a man. Because here's the thing, when you stop begging and start working on yourself, two things happen. First, you regain your confidence. You start to remember your worth and realize that you don't need anyone to complete you. And second, she notices. When you're no longer chasing, it shifts the dynamic. Suddenly, you're not the desperate guy who's begging for her attention. You're the man who's in control of his emotions and his life. And let's not forget, if she does come back after you've begged, it's not because she respects you. It's likely because she feels sorry for you, or she's settling for less than she wants. Do you really want that kind of relationship? A healthy, lasting relationship is built on mutual respect, not pity. So stop pleading, stop sending those long texts, and stop trying to convince her that you're worth it. Instead, show her. Not with words, but with actions. Show her that you're strong enough to walk away, that you value yourself enough to let go if she's not ready to be with you. That strength is what will make her see you in a new light, and if she doesn't, then she wasn't the one for you in the first place. Remember, begging is a sign that you've lost control, not just of the situation, but of yourself. Take that control back. Respect yourself enough to walk away with your dignity intact. Because at the end of the day, a man who respects himself will always be more attractive than a man who begs. 5. The power of staying silent and moving on. Silence is one of the most powerful tools a man can use after no contact. Yet most men fail to understand its value. They feel like they need to explain, argue, or plead their case to win her back. But the truth is, silence says more than words ever could. Silence shows strength, composure, and a refusal to let emotions control you. And if you use it wisely, it can completely change the way she sees you. Why is silence so effective? Because it creates mystery. When you're quiet and unavailable, she starts to wonder what's going on in your mind. Is he over me? Has he moved on? Is he happier without me? These questions eat away at her, and in many cases, they trigger her curiosity. And let me tell you, curiosity is a powerful thing. When a woman is curious about you, she can't help but think about you. And the more she thinks about you, the more she starts to miss you. But staying silent isn't just about making her curious. It's also about protecting your own peace. After a breakup, emotions are high, and saying the wrong thing can make things worse. By choosing silence, you give yourself the space to process your feelings and think clearly. You're not reacting impulsively or letting your emotions dictate your actions. Instead, you're taking control of the situation by choosing not to engage. That level of self-control is rare, and it's something she'll notice. Let's not sugarcoat things, though. Staying silent is hard. It's tempting to reach out, to send that text, to post something online just to get her attention. But here's the harsh reality. Every time you break your silence, you're giving away your power. You're showing her that she still has control over you, that you're still waiting for her, and that kills attraction. Silence also communicates one very important thing, that you value yourself enough to walk away. Too many men cling to relationships that are already over because they're afraid of being alone. But a man who stays silent and moves on sends a different message. He's saying, I'm worth more than this. I won't beg for your attention or fight for a place in your life. If you want me, you'll have to come to me. That's a powerful statement, and it's one that women respect. Here's the thing. Moving on doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you're being cold or heartless. It simply means you're prioritizing your own happiness and well-being over someone who's unsure about you. And when you do that, something incredible happens. You start to focus on yourself. You start to build a life that you're proud of. And in doing so, you become the kind of man she can't ignore. Silence is also a form of self-respect. It's saying, I'm not going to engage in drama or chase after someone who doesn't appreciate me. That level of maturity and self-awareness is incredibly attractive. And if she's worth it, she'll notice. She'll see that you're not like every other guy who panics and tries to win her back. You're different. You're composed, confident, and in control of your emotions. But what if she doesn't come back? That's a question a lot of men fear. And here's the answer. If she doesn't come back, it means she wasn't the one for you. And that's okay. Because by staying silent and moving on, you've put yourself in a position to find someone who truly values you. In the end, silence isn't just about making her chase you. It's about regaining your power, your confidence, and your sense of self. It's about showing her and yourself that you're not defined by the relationship. You're defined by who you are and the life you build for yourself. So choose silence. Choose self-respect. Choose to move on. Not for her, but for you. Here's the truth most men refuse to hear. You don't win her back by chasing ever. You win by becoming the version of yourself that doesn't need her. The minute you stop obsessing over what she's doing and focus entirely on your growth, you reclaim the power you gave away. And that's when the tables turn. She'll notice the silence, the shift in your energy, and the fact that you're no longer available at her convenience. That's the version of you she can't ignore, the one she starts to miss. But let me ask you this. Are you willing to let go of the old, needy version of yourself? Are you ready to embrace silence, control your emotions, and rebuild yourself into the man she regrets losing? If not, then you're not ready for her or anyone else. Now I want to hear your stories. Have you ever used no contact, and how did it play out for you? Or are you struggling to hold the line? Drop your experiences in the comments below. I read every single one, and I'll be responding to as many as I can. Let's make this a space where men can learn, grow, and support each other. You've got this.